play football how I know how to play it until I can't, Alan says. And when I can't play it the way I want to play it, it's probably when I'm done, but hopefully that's still quite some time. The idea of playing aggressive.
And Tyler Dunn, in the article, in the preamble to that, in his own opinion, says it would be foolish and a mistake for the Bills or Joe Brady or anyone to try to wrangle, Josh Allen, like to try to change his style of play. And
I mean, reel him in?
Yes, reel him in.
They did that.
No, well,
when Brady took over
so here's the thing, Brew. Here's where I kind of, because you've said that a lot, and where I disagree with you in the margins. What they changed their run-pass ratio, but I don't think Josh changed his style on the pass play.
Okay. So, I'm excited to talk about this because there's so much confusion here. And it's something that really, really drives me insane. Just straight up, man. It just drives me insane. Sorry. As I bang my mic. Of course there needs to be a wrangling in, however whatever terminology you want to use, with Josh Allen. It doesn't mean that you mute it completely, but this is literally what Andy Reid has done for Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes has admitted it. He's talked about it. How there are certain throws, certain plays that he would go for early in his career that he doesn't now. And this is, this is because of Andy's coaching. So, yes, and this is what I talk about with accountability. Someone recently asked me, do you think, cause I said that Lamar needs to be held more accountable by coaching, and people get really upset with that terminology, speaking of terminology. And someone's like, does Josh Allen being held accountable for all his turnovers? And it's just like, accountability doesn't mean blame. Okay. That's not what accountability means in this context. And it drives me nuts. And so, that article saying, they'd be crazy to know, that's what you need to do. You need to evolve. I've said this a million times. I want to see Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills play more within structure, more schemed. That is how Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have been able to have so much success together. The foundation is not constantly just have Josh Allen do his thing. But the reality is that Josh Allen has to consistently do his thing. And I'm not going to show you the clips here, but I've already made that video going through even just the playoff game against the Denver Broncos. If it wasn't for Josh Allen, they wouldn't even been in that game. They wouldn't even been in that the plays and the throws that were being asked of Josh were insane, play after play after play after play. Regardless of any of the other mistakes. And so, it's like, this offense as a whole needs to be more accountable, more locked into the details. And Josh Allen, his mistakes as well. And his style of play. I want to see his style of play evolve. And I called Josh Allen again, especially against games against specifically the Falcons. I want to say maybe the Texans, but I definitely remember the Falcons specifically. That he kept feeling that he has to go for broke. He kept scrambling and buying time, but it was just constantly looking down the field for such an extra extended way where it's like, just get the 5 yards. Just get the 8 yards. Just get the yards and get down. But he, from his viewpoint was just like, I need a big play. It's not enough just to get 5 yards right now. Our offense is not good enough. I need to go big play hunting. And that's what I would want, some accountability. But it's hard to do when the offense isn't good enough. It's hard to do when there's not, a sense of things being, I don't want to say reliably schemed, but just, having the offense function in a way that just allows Josh Allen to exist rather than having to constantly create. That's why it was always ridiculous. And this is what they were talking about, how they're like, oh, well, they changed or they took the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. They've never taken the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. Just because they wanted to run the ball more doesn't mean that they're taking the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. Like, that is major confusion. Major confusion. They'll say the same nonsense with Jalen Hurts. oh, they don't trust him. And it's like, really? Then why are they asking him to throw on 4th and 5? You know, if they didn't trust him, why are they putting literally the entire balance of the game on Jalen Hurts' arm, right? Like why are they having Jalen Hurts throw the ball on like 4th down in the Super Bowl at the 50-yard line? Like if you don't think that's trust, and you think that's taking the ball out of his hands because they're handing the ball off a lot, again, you're confused. You don't understand football then, okay? It's just not the way it works. So, that stuff is always what drives me crazy. But yes, there always needs to be an evolution to the game. And Joe Brady has said it himself about Josh Allen. He said it himself. And if that's a lesson that you need to just shake into Josh. Like you got to get that messaging. You got to get that messaging. That is also accountability here. But, when you're a great coach, and this is what the Steve Kerrs understand. This is what the Phil Jacksons, what the Andy Reids and whatnot and the Sean McVays know that yeah, these players are going to be the ones that are going to take it to the limit. They're going to go for broke. And so you have to be able to balance it out. You still have to let them be there. You have to let them get their hand caught in the cookie jar. You have to understand when you have to just let them be them. Then really the easiest example of this is not football, it is basketball. It's Steph Curry. You know, with his threes. Because it's just like sometimes like he is taking bad shots. He is like that I will live by this and I love it. It's one of my favorite moments in all of sports. And then LeBron and KD know it, too. And he joked I don't think LeBron was very happy with that shot. You know, when he makes the 3, against France in the Olympics. Like that was not technically a good shot. We could say well, it's a good shot because it's Steph. It's like, LeBron didn't think so. KD like they were open LeBron and an open KD is going to be a better statistical shot. They're big game players. They know how to hit big game shots. So, it's not like this is some random role player, coming off the bench here. And so it's just like that's one of the hardest things that you have to balance when you're working with a true elite superstar. And Steve Kerr really talked about this a lot at length when they were in their run, in 15, 16, 17, 18 and whatnot. Like, he's discussed that. That it's just like it's an interesting balance. It's an interesting balance. And so that is something that you have to figure out how to coach with the Josh Allens, with the Lamars, and all that. It is a message that you have to get across to them. And that's why, even that turnover, that fumble at the end of the first half, it's like I blame Sean McDermott. You got to protect your guy. You got to protect your quarterback. You got to manage the game. You know the quarterback that you have. And the reason why he's like that, or the reason why he's, going to open up the door for that fumble, is because look at all the other plays that he had to make throughout the course of the game. It's really hard to wrangle someone when they're forced to be Superman seemingly every single drive. Every single drive. 'Cause they're just put in this mode of I have to be a monster every single game, otherwise we simply will not win. So, yeah, I put it SQ. You're on the shoulders of coaching, like I've seen Andy Reid do again and again and again. A coach will say this all time, it's my job to protect you. It's my job to protect you. It's my job to put you in the positions to succeed and minimize the situations to fail. Coaches say those types of things all the time. All the time. And so, yeah, it's not a matter of necessarily 100% even wrangling in Josh Allen. It's being able to not only wrangle him in, of course, but create a system in which he can be comfortable being wrangled in. A system that he could be comfortable trusting the offense. It's really hard to trust the vision of the coach, to trust the vision of the offense when it's failed you repeatedly, or why you have to keep elevating every 5 seconds. That is not the case with the Rams and Sean McVay. That is not the case with Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. That is not the case. Not the case. So, that's where a lot of this kind of intersects with one another. So, you know, like always, we always seem to be having not quite the right conversation. And there seems to really be confusion about like how we maximize someone like Josh Allen. The way how Patrick Mahomes played in 2018 is not the way how he played in 2019. Or 20, or 21, or 22. When people think that Patrick Mahomes was actually at his peak, where technically his like best statistical season, where it was all fireworks and all this, it was 2018. And then they restructured things in 2019. His passing touchdowns got cut in half. His passing yards got cut by 1,000, and they won the Super Bowl. And they won the Super Bowl. The way how they operate the offense in 2022 was completely different from 2020 to 2021. Just completely different. And same thing in 23, 24. So, there's always needs to be an evolution. And I said this in my Ravens video, I was like, if the Ravens are winning a bunch of games, but it feels almost identical how it's been in the past and this offense looks the same, I'm like, that's a problem to me. That's a problem to me. And it's the same thing with the Buffalo Bills. The exact same thing to me with the Buffalo Bills. I want to see that evolution. I want to see Josh be able to trust the system of the offense. To be able to trust in the play, to actually get the appropriate protection that he needs in any given moment. I want him to be able to operate an offense that he doesn't have to feel that he has to be Superman. And so then if there is a lane and he can just pick up 5, 6 yards, he can just take it because he knows, you know what? Next play coach is going to call is going to set us up for a great opportunity. Rather than man, I better look for something big here now, otherwise we're not moving the chains. We're not scoring a touchdown. I think really the perfect example of that was, memory serves me correctly, it was against the Atlanta Falcons. 'Cause I just remember there's many moments I was like, ma. He's really just trying his best to try to just push things. And it was just because like that at that point that offense was a peak mess. Nobody was getting open, brutal yak, the execution was awful. It was like when you really started to realize, man, they just have no one right now that can really make a play. It's really just Josh Allen and, you know, James Cook. And you're just like, phew. But yeah, they've never taken the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. It's good to have a balanced offense. It's good to be able to run the ball. And Josh Allen needs to be wrangled in. Yes, but he also needs an offense that allows him to be able to trust it. That's what it gets boiled down to. Patrick Mahomes, 'cause the team wasn't good enough last year, had to be Superman more, and that's why we saw him try to play above and beyond what he was. And it was ugly in a lot of moments. He made a lot of bad throws. Made throws that literally Tony Romo was like, I've never seen Patrick Mahomes make a worse throw and a worse decision in my life. That's what happens. That's what happens if you consistently play above and beyond. It's going to work out sometimes. And when you are Patrick Mahomes, when you are Josh Allen, when you are Lamar Jackson, we're going to see things that were like, that was one of the greatest moments ever. But the coach has to build an offense that they can succeed in, that they can trust. And then you work from the wrangling in from there. Otherwise, it's really hard. It's not like Josh Allen has been holding this team back because he's been trying to do too much. You can make that argument about other quarterbacks in other moments, absolutely. But then that becomes the age-old question of like, well, is the coach doing a good enough job? Is the team good enough? Right? Then you're just like, well, and it becomes a little bit more complicated in that regard. But there was times that Josh Allen he could have trusted the offense and he didn't, and it hurt them. You know, there was a moment against the Philadelphia Eagles, I recall, very vividly. I forget the exact play and how it was, but I just remember the moment and I just remember them, seeing Brady like upset in that moment, and it was like, yeah, in that moment Josh Allen wasn't able to trust the offense, but the whole season he wasn't able to trust the offense. So, it's not, so it's just like it just in that moment when in that where he could have trusted the offense, then great, that would have worked in that moment, but it's hard to do. One of the hardest ways to grow up in a house isn't inconsistent household. It's in a lot of ways it's easier to just know that you are going to get dysfunction or you're going to get happiness. But when you really have no idea whenever you come, when you're 10 years old, you come home from school and you have no idea is everything going to be okay or is everything going to be it's like I have no idea what to expect. It's like that inconsistency, that unknowing, it really messes you up moving forward. It really messes you up. It's why I always talk about this and especially been talking about this recently with a lot of some of these other teams that are just trying to get on track. It's just like you just need consistent average quarterback play. One of the hardest ways to run a team, one of the hardest ways to build, one of the hardest ways to just play a game at any given moment is inconsistency. If you have a quarterback who's just inconsistent, it's brutal. Your coach has no idea what to call. Your players have no idea what to expect. Defense, it's just you just don't know what to do in this situation. It's brutal. And if you just got consistent average backup quarterback play, you'll take that over anything at that point. And so, to me, that's the way how I'm looking at this conversation. That's the way how I'm looking at it through the lens of, Josh Allen wrangling change of style of play, etc., etc. But, those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Josh Allen? Does he need to change his style of play? Would it be crazy to try to change his style of play? Do you understand what I'm saying? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But, ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.